Hi everyone, Joe MVR here. I don't usually do this kind of introduction to my podcast, but this time I think it's kind of necessary. I'd been off the air for a little while because of work and being really busy and needing a little break, and then lots of technical malfunctions, and that's kind of the theme for this one as well, for this podcast. So Sven and I had a chat many weeks ago now, but then I've had some technical issues, which we actually had during the podcast recording itself. Our connection got broken for about 20 minutes, so at around the 20-minute and 45-second mark, you'll notice there's a disjoint in the conversation, and we have to reiterate a few things that we said, prior to the break in connection. At that point, suddenly my microphone stops working very well, so my voice is very quiet, but Sven's is crystal clear and loud. And unfortunately, the way it's recorded, it makes it pretty much impossible for me to try and equalize the volumes between the things that I'm saying and what Sven's saying. But the important thing is that my guest Sven is coming through loud and clear, and you don't really need to hear all the crap that I say because it's really about my guest. So, without further ado, I'm going to start the conversation with Sven, who I think is a really bright young man with a great future who's living his dream right now. So, here we go. Right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Virtual Rally Podcast, where I have conversations and get to know some of the fastest drivers in Dirt Rally 2. I'm also going to be in the future interviewing some of the best race organizers as well. So today I have a great guest with me, and I'll tell you all about him in a second. We'll get to know him. I'm Joe MVR, a member of the Global Rally Fans or GRF team and Discord club. So today we're going to be talking with EXR Sven. You'll have seen him at the top of the Dirt Rally 2 time trials, and no doubt at the top of any of the various leagues that you might be driving in. So the purpose today is to get to know the man himself, and due to time constraints and various other things, I've really not done my research about him either. So I invite you to embark on the journey with me to get to know Sven. Hi Sven, I'm so glad that you've been really patient and we can finally get to do this. How you doing, mate?
I'm doing great, thank you. Yeah, no, it's finally nice to get this get the ball rolling, really. We've both been very busy recently, so it's nice to finally get the time to do it.
Yeah, yeah, and I know. I mean, talking about being busy, I saw on Facebook today that you just did an interview with Road Hunters on their channel. Was that today?
No, it was on Tuesday, so 2 days before we've recorded this.
Right.
I got asked to do this and theirs within the space of about 5 minutes, so it was really strange to get asked to
Oh,
do
awesome.
two separate podcasts. Yeah, so it was really strange, really.
Well, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. So I'm going to check out that interview and their channel because I didn't know about it before. So that's really cool. I noticed on your Facebook page that you'd said that it was weird talking about yourself. Well, now that you've had that experience, I hope it'll be a bit easier today.
Might be a little bit easier, yeah. I've not got too much experience of it, but I'll get used to it. Be
Right. Well,
fine.
I mean, this is only episode 3 for me as well. So, well, we're both kind of new at
We'll learn
this.
together.
Yeah, exactly. So, why don't you tell anyone listening about a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into the conversation.
Yeah. So I go by the name of EXR Sven on Dirt Rally 2. My real name is it's Sven again, but it's Sven Grube. Um, I live in North Wales, although I'm currently studying in Bolton, which is it's actually a town in Greater Manchester where I study motorsport technology. Um, I'm in my second year of university now, so it's I'm getting really stuck in with that. Um, I've done a bit of placement with British Touring Cars. Did a full season with Speedworks Motorsport, which is a top team in the British Touring Car Championship. Um, and yeah, motorsport is just really the main thing um, I enjoy reading about, watching, and I hope to partake in the future. Really.
That's fantastic. So, yeah, wow, that just blows me away on many different levels, Sven. So, first of all, like, how old are you? Because, like, when I first heard about you, a mutual friend of ours, Wookie, said, "Oh yeah, he's this really fast kid." So I was expecting someone like 15 years old or something. But then you said you're at university.
I'm not quite that young.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I turned 20 in December.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool, cool, cool.
so young slash maturing, I guess you could say.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Um, so as I said, I was blown away on many levels because, first of all, like it seems that motorsport, both virtual and real, goes through your veins, right? It seems to be a big part of
Yeah,
your life for
just a bit.
sure. So and
Definitely a big part
the
of
other,
my life. Yeah,
yeah, and the other thing that really blew me away is that you could study it at university. That's amazing.
yeah. No, I was blown away about 2 years ago. Because I had no real plans of going to university, and
Okay.
I was thinking about other options, work, apprenticeships, stuff like that. Wasn't really anything coming up. So people in my sixth form just said, have a look on the website where all the universities advertise. Um, just typed in motorsport as a laugh, just thinking nothing would come up. And it turns out there's about a dozen, 2 dozen worth of universities that offer something along the lines of automotive engineering to motorsport technology, which is the title of the course I do at Bolton.
Okay.
I was blown away by it, and it was new. Something I had to do really because I didn't really have any other options really, but it's
Wow.
also something I wanted to do since I was very young. So it was a no brainer really.
That's really cool. I mean, I'm sure that when I was at university in England a long time ago, there wasn't as many courses on that kind of thing. I guess you just have to go
Yeah,
into engineering or physics or something. Um,
yeah,
yes,
mechanical engineering, that kind of thing.
exactly. Wow, that's really cool, and I'm really happy for you because it seems like it's a perfect match.
Yeah, no, it really is. Yeah, no, it's brilliant course, loving it. I'm just surrounded by race cars in uni every day. Yeah, it's great,
Right, and you said it was something
really
that
good
you were
stuff.
interested in since you were a kid. Like, is there some family background there, or is it just that you
There
were just
is,
interested? Yeah.
um, there is. My dad dabbled in road rallying in the early 80s in a dark blue Mini, which he pretty much repaired all himself, really.
Oh,
Um, and it kind of stems back from that. He hasn't done anything since then, but always had a passion for it. Um, and I was introduced into motorsport around 2 or 3 when I went to watch my first rally um, up in Scotland,
okay.
going to watch my dad's mate who at the time was competing. And that's one of my early memories of motorsport, really, in a young age. Uh, very cold, probably very wet Scottish forest, watching rally cars whiz by. Yeah.
Wow. Do you remember any of the names of the people driving at the time, like from when you were that age?
Oh
Or
God. I'm honestly not sure. It was a round of the national championship, so I'm not sure who would have been competing at the time. It
okay,
wasn't WRC
right, right,
when it was there.
okay.
Um, but I would check EWRC, but that's currently not available at the moment, unfortunately. But
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think the Rally Adria people, I think graphics, I think it was run by his family or something. I'm not gonna,
oh right, okay,
I won't be quoted on that.
yeah,
I might just be like completely talking out my ass there, but I think that was what I'd been told. Um, Just to clarify for listeners who aren't in the UK, when you mentioned sixth form, that would be like about grade 12, the last couple of years before you go to university in Britain. So
Yeah,
yeah, so that was when you were just kind of looking around for stuff to do, and you thought for a laugh, "Oh, I love motorsports. Let's see if there's anything like that." Is that kind of accurate?
yeah.
Yeah,
That is exactly how it went, really. Yeah, just having a laugh on a website,
yeah.
and it found out that they do all these different courses and stuff like that. And the
Were you?
courses you can do now are incredible.
Wow. So did your jaw drop when you saw that you could do
No,
this?
it really did. It really did. I think I turned around to everyone in the room and just probably started screaming about what I could do. Really, yeah,
That would be amazing. All right. So, okay. So you are you said something about placement in touring cars or something else as well, like other motorsports. Do you mean
yeah,
like you've
yeah.
actually driven competitively?
No,
What? Oh,
unfortunately,
placement. Oh,
I
I
haven't got the
see.
budget for that.
Yeah. No, I understand what you mean by
Um,
placement now. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. So
no, yeah,
yeah, good. Could you just elaborate so it's quite clear to everyone?
yeah. So, there was the opportunity through university to join two of the top uh, touring car teams in the country.
Hmm.
I was very fortunate to be placed into Speedworks Motorsport. Um, if you're not familiar with Speedworks Motorsport, they run the two. Well, they've got a long history of motorsport. Um, but when I was there last season, we ran two GR Toyota Corollas.
Okay.
Uh, so my role in the team, it wasn't, uh, I'd say, I guess what you could say a main role, but I would help the engineers, I would help the mechanics, kind of go and get things when they need them. A bit like a gopher, Peter said, a common term, just helping out the team really. But I think the exercise is more of a trying to network with people and understand the environments that these people work in and try and adapt into
Yeah.
certain situations. I think that's the thing you learn most from those
Yeah, I
sort of
was going to
things.
say you must have learned a lot. Like even if you said like you were a
Oh
gopher,
yeah, yeah,
just being in that environment, seeing the pressure and what
yeah,
everyone's up to.
100%.
I mean, you can't
Yeah,
underestimate how important that is because one of the biggest determinants of how well you do in any job is how well you fit in. And so it was probably great for
yeah.
you to realize. And did you think that, oh yeah, this is for me, or like, nah, I don't want more of this? I bet I know the answer already.
Oh no, I loved it. It was it's really not every day you get the chance to join something of such a level, a high level like that. It really opened my eyes really to the opportunities that are available to me and ones that I really should take. Because I think there are far too many people that might see these. And I know people that will see these opportunities and just think, oh, I can't be bothered or doesn't seem right. But maybe if it's not the perfect fit for you, I think it's just you need to just push yourself out your comfort zone. And you're not going to get anywhere if you don't push yourself out your comfort zone. You're just going to keep plodding on. You're not going to actually learn anything or
Yeah,
gain experience that you need to better your future.
yeah, yeah.
So kind of made me think to take it by the scruff of the neck, really.
That's amazing. I'm sitting here smiling ear to ear hearing that because I wish I was 20 years old when I realized that, not 40 when I thought, oh, live my life in my comfort zone. Yeah, so that's really awesome. So that right there ensures that you're going to do well with that attitude already under your belt. That's awesome. So yeah, the reason for the confusion with placement is last night for I just joined the JRC, which I'm sure you're familiar with,
Yeah,
the
I'm familiar with it. Yeah.
league in Dirt Rally 2, and they need everyone to kind of gauge how fast they are and which league they should go in. So they've got something called placements where you actually just do
Okay.
do kind of an audition and you do a mini rally and then they place you. So when you said you'd done
Thank you. Yeah.
placements with with touring cars, I was like, wow, yeah.
Okay.
but but you've certainly got the talent for it in the virtual driving at least. So yeah, let me go back a bit. So you've done placement with touring cars. Your dad used to do rally driving kind of as a privateer, I guess. And
Yeah.
um, so, do you like all motorsports? Do you have a favorite? You know, what? How do you rank them? What's your
Uh,
priority?
it's a good question. To be honest, I do like all motorsport. I'm not, if I'm honest, I'm not the biggest, I guess you could say, like NASCAR fan.
Okay,
I can't say I've ever really watched a race of that. Uh, Rallying is my favorite motorsport. It's one of my favorite full sport, full stop, to be honest.
good
I
man.
think it's just because I was brought up on it really, and it just it just so much cooler to me than everything else.
Yeah.
Um, Probably say touring cars is second.
Hmm.
It's a close second with Formula One for me. Uh, Although the last couple of seasons of Formula One haven't been the greatest. Um, I think the new cars will help with that a bit.
Okay.
Uh, but there's definitely no motorsports that I can say that I dislike really,
Awesome.
because everything's different, which I think is really good, and especially with like electric powertrains coming in, you've now got Extreme E is the newest one, and stuff
Okay.
like Formula E, which is not they're not things I've watched in great detail, but they are nice to see springing up all over the place really.
Awesome. So, you've actually preempted my next question. I've got right here written down electric question mark. So,
Oh,
so that's really good. A good segue there. Oh, actually, they don't have Segway racing. That would be awesome. Um, yeah.
it'd
So,
be interesting. It's
yeah, it
spectator
would.
sport.
Yeah, it'd be pretty fun. Yeah, so what do you think about, like, I think I've seen Volkswagen do like electric rally cars, and I've heard about, the possibility that there would be that in the future. What do you think? Because like there are some people who are just purists, and if it doesn't make a growling, you know,
Yeah.
V6 or of like a 400 horsepower four-cylinder engine sound, they're not interested for rally and stuff. But what do you think about the future of motorsports and the powertrains shifting to electric?
I think personally for me, I'm not against it. And I'm not one of these purists that say, oh, if it hasn't got a noise, I'm not going to go and watch them or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, my only skepticism is is I personally I don't think electric is the best way forward. I think it's maybe it is better than a like a ICE engine.
Yeah.
Um, but there's still it's all the precious metals they're mining and everything like that.
Hmm.
And for me, I just don't think it's actually the right way forward. I don't think it's as sustainable as it's been made out to be.
Right. Right.
Um, but away from the side of the fact of actual like sustainability,
Yeah.
it wouldn't stop me going from watching a rally in a forest or a tarmac rally
Yeah.
at all. You still the noise isn't there. You haven't got that rumble, that vibration through the ground that you feel, and you feel it in your chest.
Yeah.
But you're not just there because of the sound. You're there because you're going to watch the best national drivers or the best international drivers in the world,
Yeah.
and you're
Fantastic.
looking to see a car on its absolute limit. That's why you go and watch them. So I don't think I'm too opposed by the thing of electric cars, and I think you just got to look at it with positivity, really. And they're going to have so much torque, so they're going to
Yeah.
fly off everywhere like a rocket. They're going to
Yes.
launch quicker than they've ever launched before. So you just got to think about the positives, really, and just
Yeah.
there are always going to be events where petrol engine cars are always going to be able to use. So I don't think it's that bad of a thing, really.
Yeah, I'm completely with you there. Like I go for the speed, and if
Yeah,
you if you can
exactly. That
if you
sense of
can
speed.
yeah, and if you can have the sound in Dirt Rally 2 or any other, you know, computer game, you could even have an AI produce the sound with external speakers if you
You're right.
really must have it, right? But it was
Yeah. Oh,
really,
yeah. You're right.
but it's really interesting that when you said, oh, there are some limitations or you have some reservations, and you went for the sustainability aspect of it rather than um,
Yeah.
any mechanical shortcomings, and that's really quite telling as well. Yeah, I think you're right that there are limitations, but if you've got the technology in place, you can always try to find alternatives to the materials that are being used. But yeah, so you were really talking about concern for there may still be a much larger environmental impact than we're led to believe with
Yeah.
electric engines. Yeah, I mean, I think that is true. But I think the more each motor is driven, the on balance it gets better and better, right? Because you've got this, you're not continuing to contribute to greenhouse gases or carbon footprint. Uh,
I think it was
Sustainability.
AI. As we were talking about AI sound putting
Yeah,
onto the
we had
rally cars. I
that.
think
We
or
had that, and
something
then
like
you mentioned about how um, the electric motors are not the
that.
absolute best answer to the greenhouse gases
Yeah.
and carbon
Yeah.
emissions problem. And yeah, and then I was just so the recording finished where I was just saying um, that sure, when you create an engine, it's terrible. It's a big impact on the environment. But then, with the more you use the electric motor, it kind of begins to redress that balance somewhat.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I actually while I was doing an MBA, I did a project on this, looking at
Oh, right. Okay.
weighing the pros and cons, and trying to figure out just how much you have to drive a Tesla
Oh, right.
um, before it becomes
So,
a
what
net
did you?
benefit.
Oh, okay. So, what did you study?
So I actually did. So we're not going to make it about me so much, but I did natural sciences at Cambridge, and then I did a
Oh,
PhD
Jesus,
there.
what?
Yeah, and then I did a PhD there, and then I did lots of research. But then, like 20 years after my PhD, I did an MBA, and I left being a scientist and became a business person in high-end audio. So
Yeah, I because I've watched your podcast and I remember you saying about high-end audio equipment.
yeah,
So that's
exactly.
is
So
that the reason you're out in Montreal now? Is it, or is that?
no, I actually came to Montreal to do research. I just finished my PhD as in cancer research, and then I came here to do work on arthritis. And then I became a
Wow.
neuroscientist studying, brains and the nervous system in molecular detail.
Everything.
Yeah, I was a
Wow,
I was
that's
a
incredible. That is incredible.
I was a personal trainer for a while as well, so I've done a lot of different
You've
things.
really done everything, haven't you? You really have.
Yeah,
Wow, that's incredible.
yeah, I'm 53 now, and I've just started, just got into the virtual driving a little while ago, and
Yeah,
kind of became
you're
pretty
doing
good.
well at it.
Yeah, and not too bad.
Yeah,
It's because of VR, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So let's just maybe get back on track now.
yeah.
So I spent a lot of time actually in academia and working with students, like to try and I was an academic administrator as well at one of the universities here in Montreal, McGill University, and so I spent a lot of my years working to make student life better for young people. So
Oh,
that's why
yeah.
I'm really that's why I was grinning ear to ear when you were saying, yeah, you've got to be outside your comfort zone, and that's why I'm kind of more interested in that,
Yeah.
because the cliche, you guys are the future.
Love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So all right, so we were talking about um your background then. So tell me, how did you get into Dirt Rally 2? If I'm not mistaken, I've seen some footage from Dirt Rally 1 on your
Yeah,
YouTube
yeah, you will
channel.
have done. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was so I guess you could say my whole gaming slash like sim racing journey started with a PlayStation 2, um, Need for Speed Underground. Um, I think that's where it starts for a lot of people, really, from like my generation and maybe a little bit older. Um, and then just kind of progressing through different games. So Colin McRae series, played all of them. Played till I couldn't play them anymore. Got completely bored of them. Uh, but they're great games. My first game I ever had on a wheel was Gran Turismo 5, which at the time was an incredible game and still is quite an incredible game now if you think about it. Um, I actually still have the first wheel that I ever bought as well, which is quite a nice thing to have. Um, I then seriously got into it. I'd say probably around Dirt Rally 1. That was probably when it really kicked off, I guess, like the sim side of stuff, because I'd never really, I think I hadn't really got to the age where the sim stuff is more important than just building a car with 1,000 horsepower and
Right.
trying to reach the top speed you can.
Yeah.
So I think at that age, I was probably around like when Dirt Rally came out. I think I was about
13,
14. Wait,
13,
I'm not
14.
sure. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, 13, 14.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, so that was where it probably got more serious to me because I realised I'd never driven a rally car at that age, and I basically still haven't now, even though I own one.
Right.
Um, and it was then it kind of start to realise the car mechanics, everything starts kind of, and you increase your understanding and everything like that. And I think I got my first world record on that game. I think I was about 14, and
Wow.
I've got the footage on my YouTube as well. And I look back at it now, and it's terrible. I don't know how I did it, but
Okay.
um, I did it somehow. And then yeah, and then from that it just progressed onto Dirt Rally 2, and we're here now.
Right.
But Dirt Rally 2 is for me head and shoulders above the first one.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So this is quite interesting because in some ways your progression from like these arcade type games to serious rally is the same kind of thing that Codemasters went through really when Dirt Rally 1 came out. Before that it had been
Yeah.
kind of
Hmm.
semi-serious or just outright, get in
Yeah.
a car and have fun, and it's kind of
Yeah.
rally, right? But
Definitely.
yeah, so
Hmm.
that's
Yeah.
quite an interesting parallel. Um, yeah, so you've been at it for quite a while, right? You've been at it as long as I have actually, but you started
Yeah.
40 years before me, or like 30 years,
Yeah.
35 years before
Yeah.
me, I guess. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's cool because I started off with Dirt 3, and I just got a wheel and everything. And then when
Yeah.
Dirt Rally came out, it was like day one, bought it because I'd been on the Codemaster forums for
Yeah.
ages saying, yeah, we want more, we want more. And we'll actually talk about maybe Dirt Rally 3 in a few minutes as well.
Yeah.
So what so you've been playing for quite a while now. Um, how was that transition from kind of arcade to sim? Like, did it grab you straight away, or were you frustrated that it was a lot more difficult in kind of more real world physics and stuff?
If I'm honest, I can't really remember it too well, to be honest. It would have been quite a challenging transition, but I don't think I would have dropped the arcadey games straight away. I think I would have played a bit, probably crashed a lot, gone back onto the others to gain a bit more confidence, pluck up the courage to then go on to the sim game again and then come back and then end
Right.
up just getting to the point of stuff the arcade game and just go straight into the sim game. But I can't imagine it would have been an easy one. It's never easy
It's frustrating,
unless you
isn't it?
unless you're really just in your head, just keep it on the road, drive like an absolute granny. But obviously, you want to go as fast as you can. It's a natural response to everything, isn't it? You want to try and be the fastest, and
Yeah.
but you end up getting there. You end up just practicing and practicing. You end up getting there.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. Like I would say, okay, after crashing about 100 times and restarting, I'm going to drive like a granny now. And then next thing you know, you're still
Yeah,
going out all out crazy.
yeah. You're still going. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it is very difficult to make that transition. But I was like thinking, okay, do I just go as fast as I can until I crash and then try to make the crash happen later and later? Or do I just go get through,
yeah.
yeah, or do I go through the whole
It's
thing
definitely a
slowly?
technique.
Yeah, or do I just go through the
It's
whole thing
definitely a
slowly?
technique.
Or do you go through the whole thing slowly and then just speed up gradually? And I tried all sorts of
And
things. Yeah,
yeah,
that is funny. So
I'm
did you
learning
do?
that now.
Oh,
Yeah,
really? Yeah. What to say a bit more about that, if you may?
you, yeah. I think you learn where your limits are, and for me, I still break way beyond my limits even now. Like I'm still not as consistent as I'd like to be.
Yeah,
I still make stupid mistakes where I shouldn't be making stupid mistakes, and I beat myself up for it. But you just learn from it, and you learn. And because it is a game, you can go and replay that stage later on it after the club or the championship, whatever you want to call it.
yeah,
You then know what to expect from that corner in that condition. So you end up learning from it. Um, and it is a good thing because it teaches you to control yourself in certain situations, so you know where to push, where to back off.
yeah.
And I don't remember any like split times or anything like that, or even like a progress bar. So I don't know what I'm doing during the stage.
Right,
Um,
right.
and I found that was a help because when people see a green sector
Yeah,
or even a red sector, it's like a red rag to a bull.
yeah.
People see that and they're like, you feel like the king when you see a green sector, and you're like, oh, I've got this in the bag now, and
Yeah,
you start going quicker and quicker because you think, oh, I can gain this much time in this stage, and
yeah,
it ends up catching up with you, and it never ends well. And I can say that from experience. So I turned them all off, and I haven't had them on for 2 years, I'd say now.
yeah, man.
Yeah, I turned them off pretty quick.
That's really interesting because I still have them there, and I must say, it is an injection of emotion, right? Whether it's positive or
Yeah,
negative, and maybe that's
I like to run my
always,
own pace.
yeah, maybe that's always a bad thing that to have that injection of emotion. But I mean, for me, sometimes it's given me the impetus to push, and I know, especially on the last stage of a rally, to know whether I'm going to get the championship or not. But
Yeah,
oftentimes I look at if I glance at my split time and see how far ahead or behind I am, I'm going to crash.
I
That
lose
happens.
concentration if I take my eyes off the screen for even a split second. I lose
Yeah,
concentration.
yeah. So okay.
I notice it. I do notice it.
So all right, that's cool. I wanted to ask you, when did you get a wheel? Like, did you used to play on the controller before, with like from the PS2 days and stuff?
Yeah, yeah. I must have done. I must have done. And then got my wheel. It was a GT wheel, so it's a Logitech
Yeah,
Driving Force GT. So it's a proper force feedback wheel.
yeah.
If you look back on it now, they're not. It's not the best, but it's still not terrible. It's still force feedback. It's quite a good wheel. I'd happily use it now. And that was right at the start of GT5. So I got it pretty much around the date that it came out.
Right,
So if I just do a quick check, just a quick second. Uh, GT5 release date 2007.
right.
Yeah, 2007 it was released. So it's around then
Okay.
that I got it. So I've been on a wheel for a very long time now. Yeah,
Wait, wait, wait. You would have been
it's
about
coming up to 15.
you would have been about 5 years
Oh,
old
no, I
then.
couldn't have been. GT5, I definitely had a wheel on GT5, or maybe I was playing GT5
Yeah.
for a year, maybe, and then I got a wheel. But for some reason, I have a vivid memory of me having it when GT5 came out, but maybe I'm wrong with that.
Okay.
So it was about 15 years ago. So it
Wow.
probably wasn't. I've probably been on it's maybe 2000 and halfway through 2008, maybe 2009.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah,
But that's
that would
still
makes it more. plausible.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's
I was
still,
very young. I was very young
yeah,
when I had it. Yeah,
yeah, you're still like almost born with a wheel in your
yeah,
hand, mate. That's
yeah.
incredible.
My mates used to love me for it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So what kind of equipment do you have now?
So I recently I've done a bit of an upgrade really.
Yeah.
Um, I'm still running all Thrustmaster. So I had a TMX Thrustmaster with the T3 PA pedals, with the brake mod on the end. So it's like a little rubber cone. So you end up just getting a rock hard brake pedal. So it's
Ah,
not just a little sponge.
okay.
Um, the TH8A shifter, which is like the H pattern. So I've still got the H pattern.
Yeah.
Uh, I bought the TSXW base, which is the top of the line Thrustmaster one now. I'm not. I don't know how much you know about Thrustmaster. I don't know if you're on Thrustmaster yourself, but it's probably the top of the line Thrustmaster one.
Okay.
And then I got the Sparco. I can't remember the code name for it, but it's the Sparco rally wheel that you
Right,
have to
right, right.
buy. So I've got that, and
Yeah.
then um, I recently, I'll just quickly touch on it. I briefly uh, was part of the FIA Rally Star, so the Motorsport UK and FIA youth program, talent program
Hmm.
that I got through WRC9.
I see.
Um, and then through that, they did a competition just as like so you just tag a few mates in the comments on Instagram. And you could win some of the I think it's TLCM, I think that's what they are, TCLM or something like that.
Yeah.
Then you could win the low tail pedals from Thrustmaster. And I was very happily received a pair of them. I won it. So, and
Nice.
I never usually win stuff like that. So I got a free pair of
And
pedals.
that was just
So
blind luck.
they're
That was just
blind luck.
okay.
Yeah,
Excellent.
I never win anything like that. So I was it was amazing, really.
Very,
So
very
I'm
good.
using them now. So I've got I'd say I've got a good setup. I've got a good Asus gaming monitor, some little Logitech speakers, and a bucket seat that my dad's good mate gave to me. So I put some wooden runners on that, and I sit on that.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a nice little setup.
Very good. And so you mentioned the gaming monitor, so you don't use VR?
No, unfortunately, I'm using my uni laptop to play all my sim games on. So I'm
Okay.
50 FPS tops. Yeah, I'm not getting anything more than
Ah,
that.
wow. Wow. Okay.
So I'm especially on certain championships where you have to record, it's pretty much game over for me
Yeah, because you can't
because
see
I'm
both.
not getting anything above 30 FPS. Like, and I'm getting massive like screen tears. Yeah, it's not ideal really.
Okay.
I'm looking to get a new PC and then I will get VR because I'd love to try that.
Yeah, yeah. That was the game changer for me. Like I went from being a bit better than average to, you know, consistently getting top 20 to top
Yeah,
100 times.
yeah. I've got
Yeah,
a teammate who uses it and he says it makes a massive difference.
yeah. Right. Yeah, I know. Like a few of you guys use it, and Jonathan Schaefer, for example, like
Yeah,
he wouldn't even.
prime example of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. He refused to go to the World Series quarterfinals because VR
yeah,
wasn't allowed, and I stand by that, and that's why this podcast is about Codemaster games rather than WRC and all the others because I'm a huge
yeah.
VR person now. So,
I can
Sven,
see why.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, really, it makes a huge difference. So, Sven, I think going back to something you said earlier, like when you went into more of the serious simulation things like Dirt Rally 1 and Dirt Rally 2, you mentioned how the importance of the mechanics and the tuning and all of that kind of really came together and that for you. So I know people out there who still don't do any tuning on their Dirt Rally 2 cars. And so I want to get your opinion on how important you think that is and what difference that's made to you.
to me, setup is more in the way of of a confidence thing.
Hmm.
It's definitely um, it doesn't gain you speed. It's speed gained through confidence. You can't expect just because you make a change to be instantly quicker. It has to feel quick, and you have to. It's just about understanding what the car is going to do at an input. You want the car to be predictable. You never want the car stepping out when you don't expect it. You want always want to be ready to catch it in any certain situations, and it is a fine balance. You can overdo it. You can do a big thing I seem to do is I do too many changes all at once. I need to start refraining from that because you make too many changes at once, you end up not learning anything because you've made two changes of two different things
Yeah.
and you don't know which one's having the impact on the car.
Right.
So that's a big thing, but I won't get too much into that. But for me, it's more of a confidence thing, and then I gain speed through confidence, if you
Right.
know what I mean.
Yeah, I do actually. Um, I agree with you mostly there. I found though sometimes I've tuned the car to really make it enjoyable to drive, and I feel very confident, but find
Yeah,
that it was actually slower than I could have gone if I were tuned it so that I'd have to put a bit more effort into it. And do
yeah,
you know what I mean?
definitely
Like,
depends also whether you.
because sometimes in the championship, I find myself getting just caught in, especially with VR, just how enjoyable a certain car is to drive, and then I catch
Yeah,
myself thinking, and then that's where the red sectors help, right? And I think, holy shit,
yeah.
I'm just out on a Sunday drive here through the Welsh countryside when I should be pushing, pushing hard, and
Pushing as fast as you can.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
No,
But in general, I really agree with that. That it is the confidence that the car can give you. And in certain times, I used to like say, okay, this is how the car should drive, and I'm going to tune it that way, and then I'm going to adapt my driving style. But now I'm more and more adapting the tuning to my driving style, and then maybe modifying my driving style to get that extra little bit
yeah,
oomph.
and you also learn what you like and how you learn your driving style really. And that's definitely something that you'll learn over time if someone is maybe struggling uh, with setup stuff like that. And also setups, they're not the be all and end all. You can sometimes I actually just ditch a setup I've made because I've made that many changes. I'll ditch it, go back to normal, and you can then just start fresh. And even some of these base setups that I put onto these cars on Dirt Rally 2 are actually really, really good.
Yeah, yeah,
Because they'll have been, I can imagine they've probably been developed by John Armstrong.
right,
I can imagine he'll have had some input into that. And as we know, he's a top esports driver and top
sure,
real life rally driver as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
Um, So they're really not going to be that bad, but you can just make little changes.
yeah. I agree. Again, there was this bass tune yesterday that I did on the Subaru 2001 that I used, right? Because I use what me and my mate Jesse do is we'll do a time trial or a shakedown with the default settings first, and then improve them. And usually,
Yeah,
we always improve by many seconds. But the default tuning on the Subaru 2001 in um, um, I guess New England and New Zealand, it was pretty good. But on the other hand, there are some bass tunings that I find are just designed to try and kill you. You know, like
yeah.
like on the
No, they
S,
really are. They really
yeah,
are.
like the Escort Mark II bass
Yeah,
tuning, right, can be pretty
that one
bad,
springs to mind.
or a Lancia Stratos,
That
for
also,
Australia.
yeah,
Yeah, they can be pretty, and they can be quite fun trying to um, get something that's
rest of
quite
them
good.
around.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, so that brings me on to actually, what are your favorite cars, your favorite locations and stages, or what do you like best in Dirt Rally 2?
Uh, that's a good question. Really good question. So favorite rally has got to be Wales.
Hmm.
Um, Definitely followed up by Scotland.
Yeah.
Those two are the the closest to home. So I mean, they kind of just make sense. They're where I've grown up watching rallies, and they just I don't know. They have that special feeling because there's well, the Wales one is basically a home rally because I live in North Wales.
Right.
Scotland not so much, but they're not too dissimilar.
Yeah.
Um, I have watched a rally when I was very young, like I said. So I have been up there. Um, Favorite cars. You see, it's quite easy for me to say like the Mark II Fiesta
Yeah.
R5 because it's the car I use the most.
Right.
But I definitely, if I ignore that because that's the car I use in every R5 championship,
Yeah.
if I ignore that, I probably have to say Legacy Group A.
Interesting.
Um, Definitely that.
Okay.
Um,
I've got to probe this. Why that car?
it's just, I think I've got this picture in my mind of McRae
Yeah.
um, just sideways in the British Championship in the early 90s,
Right.
just from watching stuff like VHS rallies, stuff like that, and having CDs that we so like VHSs that we burnt onto CDs when I was
Right.
younger because that was all I'd watch really. I'd have my parents would put stuff onto CDs for me,
Yeah.
and that would be like maybe kids my age would be watching films every night. I'd be watching Manx rallies from the mid 80s, stuff like that.
Oh,
It's
amazing.
I just always has such a passion for it.
Right.
Um, and so I've just got this image in my head of McRae just sideways with probably usually half the car hanging off um, in a Welsh forest, mud all the way at the side of the car. And I think that's probably the reason why. The Fabia 2005,
Yeah.
mainly because it's just probably yeah, for me, it's the best handling car in the game by a country mile.
Which one? The Fabia.
Um, Yeah, the WRC one in the 2000s
Right. Right.
four-wheel drive
Okay. Yeah.
class.
The Skoda. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm using that in the championship at the moment, and it is just absolutely perfect. It's very predictable, nimble. The setup is minimal on it to get
Mhm.
maximum out of it. Um, I really enjoy my rear-wheel drive stuff. So I really like the Cadet. I think it's the H2 rear-wheel drive class, so it's
Right.
the Opel Cadet. I think it's the GTE. I really enjoy driving that.
Cool.
Escort again. Yeah, I think I'll leave it at that. Go on all day, really.
Yeah. 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 So there's a lot, but the Legacy. When they introduced it to the game, because it wasn't with the base game, right?
No, it
Um,
wasn't. Yeah, no, it wasn't.
I was thinking, oh, this is going to be big and clunky, but it's surprisingly fast, right? I mean,
It really is. It really is.
yeah, I think I got like, one of the top times or like the top time in in the short Swedish stage at night. Um,
Wow.
on the
Yeah,
custom leaderboard.
definitely beat
With
me
the
in
legacy.
Sweden then.
Well, that was with the legacy, and it was as soon as I showed off about it, somebody went and beat it with the Lancia anyway.
Ah, it's always the case. It's always the case. I just keep quiet now.
Yeah,
I just keep quiet now.
yeah. It's actually quite funny because as I've got better, um, there are a very few time trials or custom event things when I go on the leaderboard, and sometimes I'm like just a couple of spots below you and I try to beat you.
Yeah.
I talk about like
Oh,
people
it's
beat
good
me, but
competition. It's
yeah,
great. I love it.
exactly. And it's very, very rare. But sometimes I'm like, oh, Sven probably wasn't taking this seriously. Because I know you could beat me at almost anything, right? But I
I'm going
don't
to use
get
that
too
excuse
serious.
forever now.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, with a very few things, I'm like, oh wow, hey, I beat Sven, or I beat, obviously like Jonathan Schaefer, or BN 880, or all the big guys.
Yeah, yeah,
Excuse me.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm about to choke here. Hang on.
Get yourself a drink.
I'll edit that out for sure. Okay, So, do you have any advice for people who are either new to the game or are trying to improve their times? Hang on. Sorry, Sven. I'm still. Hang on a sec.
It's okay.
Yeah, that would be really weird if I choked to death on some saliva swallowed the wrong way. Oh man. Yeah, so okay, I'll start again. Yes, so Sven, do you have any advice for people who've been playing the game for a long time and want to get faster, or someone who might be new to the game on um, how would you say you could get faster a little bit more quickly than just putting in the work because it's not always obvious to someone.
Yeah. Um, I think a really good way that I've not used so much, but I can see it as being a really good tool to try and improve is doing leaderboard jumps. So you kind of you set a time and wherever it is, it's not really the end of the world. It doesn't have to be an amazing time. Just put a time on the board on a certain stage that maybe you're struggling at. Um, and then set a goal for yourself. Like, don't go maybe too hard. Like, try and go for like, say you're down in like 400th on the leaderboard. Try not to go for like top 10 because
Sure.
that might be a bit unrealistic. But set it for 300 or 250, and then keep just trying to eke little corners or little areas where you think you may be lacking a bit in speed or keep struggling keeping your speed up. I'd say use your replays as well. I've started doing it a bit more. Your replays are a brilliant way to see how your car's behaving under certain conditions and your inputs and how they react on the car.
Right.
Use that as a way also to look at your lines because you might be getting a line wrong that maybe you don't think is wrong. Um, so yeah, try and then set a goal. So you want to go from 400 to 300. So you choose that person's ghost, click on that ghost, set it as your ghost you want to use. You then try and match that. So you get 300, and then you just keep on going up. So you might go 200, 150, 100, 50, and then from there on, you'll have better knowledge of the stage.
Right.
And if that stage comes up, you're going to be much more confident there because you're going to know the route. You're going to feel more confident. So if you have, even just say you go into that stage in a championship and you have a lead already, you can then go into that stage and you can go at a comfortable pace and you're not going to be crashing all the time because you're trying to eke out that little bit extra over your opponents. So I think that's a really good way of
Yeah.
trying to improve stage by stage. Maybe not on the whole, but I guess you will learn stuff from trying just that and you can apply it to all the other stages.
Yeah, for sure. So that is good advice. I think Alan from EXO, Alan Winterburn, has said something similar about that. Doing a kind of a ladder where
Yeah.
that's really good advice for someone who's starting out and wants to get really really good. Of course, another good way to do it is to go back in time and get your first wheel when you're 7, like like you did. So yeah, okay. That's really that's really good advice. I'm really uh, I'm good. I support
So I
you
could
on
just
that.
say setup, but maybe setup is different for everybody. So some people might not be as clued up. But then you could say I still do it now. I'll still look up setup videos, go on Google. Sometimes I'm just stumped on something, and I'll be like, Google how what can cause understeer mid corner, and I've just got a little folder on my phone of just photos of things like that. It might just be very simple. What causes understeer?
Right.
What can I change to cause to stop understeer, and what like
Ah,
vice versa for oversteer, stuff like that.
yeah.
Um,
Have you
and just
seen
little stuff
the?
like that. You can just go back to and just re-jog your memory.
That's really cool. Have you seen the O'Neill videos. Is there
Yes, I
any?
have.
Yeah,
They are some really good videos. They're really good.
yeah. I'll see if I can link those down in the comment section.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be really
Um.
cool.
Yeah.
I
No,
was
they
actually
are.
quite. Yeah,
They're
sorry.
quite good. They're good. They've put it into practice as well because they have got the actual driving videos on there as well, and
Yeah,
they're quite approachable as well. They're really easy to watch, even if your knowledge maybe isn't too good at the start.
yeah,
You can easily get into it, and you will end up learning something 100%.
for sure. I mean, I'm only virtual driving, right? But when I see their real world videos, I'm actually quite pleasantly surprised at how well they translate into the physics engine of Dirt Rally 2, that you can actually make those changes from one of their videos. And even though the blurb to describe the change in Dirt Rally 2 doesn't really mention the stuff that the O'Neill video says, the result will be what you expect it to be in the real world. So I was quite
Yeah,
pleasantly surprised by that. Okay,
yeah. No, it's just resources like that are really good.
fantastic. So, right, well, I guess the other thing I was gonna wanted to talk to you about was your team, because you guys are in a couple of the championships that I've done, but um,
Yeah.
I find myself like wanting to interview different people, and for the last little while, it seems to be the EXR guys just come up again and again. There's like Gravy, Quinn, Alan, David. I don't know if how well you know your teammates, because you're obviously spread out all over the world. But you're not
Yeah,
only
yeah, we
fast,
certainly are. Yeah.
yeah, and you're not only fast though, but you're all quite interesting, very approachable characters. So I really like that. What's it like being in such a team?
Um, yeah, it's brilliant. It's really, really good. They're a great bunch of guys. We're all so different, and we're all from completely different backgrounds. We've got Italians, Americans, Estonians,
Right.
Finnish. Um, it is a really, really good mix, and it's nice. It's nice, just like nice different cultures, isn't it? And we all have a laugh. Everyone gets on.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and it's support. It's you feel part of something. You feel because you want to better yourself, and then you want to get good results for the team, and then when that does happen, it is an incredible feeling because everyone's pulled together
Yeah.
and created something brilliant. It really is an incredibly great sense of achievement when that does happen.
Yeah, that's very cool. I and something that's really struck me recently is that in the Global Rally Fans Discord and club, you know, obviously everyone's invited to come and check that out. But we had this time trial challenge weekly, as well as other things. And David, Davey Racer, he
Yeah,
he does a few events with us, because I've known him for a little while now, from a competition I think in 2020. And um, when he does it, he's super fast, like all you guys are. But he'll say, okay, this is my time, but I didn't take any cuts because um, I'm part of the EXR team, and it's not right.
yeah.
you know
No, we're
and then I thought, yeah,
yeah, no, yeah,
that's really cool. So there's a lot of integrity there as well, and it's also really just good practice for those competitions where you're not allowed to take those crazy cuts, which I try to avoid as well. So yeah,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, because you people get a big shock when you're setting times
yeah,
in clubs that aren't so strict, and you're setting mega times, and all of a sudden it comes to championships where you're being relied upon as part of the team. Your
yeah,
times are nowhere near it, so you want to try and just be legal and keep everything two wheels on the road at all time, everything like that. And it's also a massive sense of achievement when not accusing anybody, but some people may stray off the beaten path, and it is nice when you beat those people because you've beaten them completely fair, and
yeah.
it's an even bigger sense of achievement, really.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, and to go back to your team being like diverse and from all over the world, that's the thing, like when I would say to myself, oh yeah, it'd be really cool to interview Speed Sensei or Alan or David and then I suddenly realize I'm not looking at them as like EXR drivers. I'm just looking at interesting, fast characters. And then I realized
Yeah,
they're all from the same team, and then this whole series of conversations could just be the EXR team. So I'm
could
trying
be
to,
just an EXR. Yeah,
yeah. So I'm trying to, but it's really a tribute um, to your team as being very fast and very diverse and interesting people as well. So down the line, I will be hopefully talking to Alan and hopefully Speed Sensei. I've got to ask him about that. And
that'll be really good.
yeah,
Yeah, no,
yeah,
that'll be really good.
there'll be a few, but I'm going to probably focus on some race organizers soon as well, and to
Yeah,
talk about those kind of things. Okay, well, Sven, I think it's probably time we wrap this up. Is there anything that you want to plug? Any shout outs that you want to give before we finish up?
it's just a shout out to EXR really. I mean, I'm in the position I am now within the team because of the team, Gravy Quinn, Brian, as I know him, and
Yes.
Technical, who who owns the team, who runs the team, and has a successful YouTube channel.
Very
Um,
nice. Okay.
yeah, it's just a privilege to be part of a team like this. So yeah, I just really enjoyed my time there, and thank you to yourself for having me on as well. It's a real privilege to be asked to do something like this, and it's not every day you get the offer. So I really appreciate being asked.
Oh yeah, well, you're welcome, man. I'm really happy to have you here and talk to you. I'm really glad that you could do this. So thank you. I think you've got a really bright future ahead of you there
Thank you
with
very much.
both virtual and in the real world of motorsports, and it really makes me happy to see someone find their kind of calling and make it happen like you are, especially in a subject that I'm really fond of as well now, like rallying. So okay, well, I hope the listeners have learned a bit about you and what makes you tick, and that motorsports, whether it's fossil fuels or electric charges going through your veins, that they've got to know you a little bit. And
Hopefully,
yeah,
a little bit.
yeah, fantastic. And I'm gonna, maybe we'll follow up and do another conversation in the near future.
Hopefully, yeah, it'd be nice. I'll enjoy that.
All
It'd
right.
be good.
Well, thanks so much, and I'll edit this up a little bit. We had a few technical mishaps, and I'll put it out
We
there.
did. We did.
Yeah, and then I'll share it around, and we will get you to post it up as well. I'll be watching your Road Hunters video too. So enjoy.
Brilliant.
All right, take care,
Thank you
man.
very much. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Take care.
Cheers, Sven. Bye.